Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome to our class. Today I want us to dive and navigate through the structure and function of the male reproductive system. From where we go to the female reproductive system, then we go to the formation of ovum, formation of the sperm, and finally the fertilization. Now class, let's start with the first structure and function of the male reproductive system. Now before we start looking at the function, let's look at the structure first. Here we are seeing we have the urinary bladder. And in our previous class, when we were talking about the urinary system, we said the urinary bladder stores the urine temporarily. Again, we can see we have the urethra, which was the passage of urine after the sphincter muscles relax. Again, we can see we have the sperm duct, we have the testes, we have the epididymis, we have the penis, we have the foreskin, we have the scrotum, we have the erectile tissue, and things of the sort. We have two glands, we have the prostate gland and the corpus gland. Now class, without wasting time, let's look each and every structure one by one, looking at its location as well as function. Now, the first structure we are going to start with is the testes. These are the two oval-shaped structures that are called the testes. Now, originally, the testes are found at the abdomen during the embryonic origin. But later on, as the organism grows, they move down to the scrotal sac. Now, class, where is the position of the testes in the body? We say the testes hang outside the body. Why? What's the primary function why the testes hang outside the body? To provide cooler environment to increase the sperm production, the rate of sperm production. Now, we have various tubules and tubes in the testes. Now let's look at the composition of the testes. What are some of the things that are found in the testes? Now we say the testes is made up of highly coiled tubes that provide large surface area for sperm production. Now, what is the name of these highly coiled tubes? They are called the seminiferous tubules. Again, we have other cells called the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells basically nourishes the sperm. How do they nourish the sperm? They bring in nutrients and oxygen and remove waste products from the cells of the sperm. Nourishes basically means bringing in nutrients and oxygen and removal of waste products such as the carbon dioxide. We also have between the seminiferous tubules, we have other cells called the interstitial cells. Now these interstitial cells basically produce the male hormones that are called the androgens. They produce the male hormones called the androgens. Now from there, the seminiferous tubules finally reunite. And once the seminiferous tubules finally reunite class, they're going to form the epididymis. This coiling structure which is found on either side of the testes. Now that which serves as a function of storage of sperm. Now class, we can see the basic function of the testes is sperm production. And therefore, we can see a structure like the seminiferous tubules provides or rather increases the surface area for sperm production. The Sertoli cells brings about the nourishment of the sperms. Also, the interstitial cells do produce the male hormones. Those are the androgens. And finally, where the seminiferous tubules finally reunite to form the epididymis class, they are going to serve the function of storing the sperm. Now again, we have a sperm duct. A sperm duct, or rather called the vas deferens. This is the sperm duct, or rather sometimes being referred to as the vas deferens. Now class, what is the function of the vas deferens? And how does the vas deferens look like in appearance? We say the vas deferens is a narrow tube, and it connects the epididymis to the urethra. It is a narrow tube connecting the epididymis to the urethra, and this is the urethra, and we can see that this vas deferens is connecting the epididymis to the urethra. Now, what is the function of the vas deferens? It primarily connects the epididymis to the urethra. Then you have other seminal vesicles. Now, it is a blindly ending sac. It's almost an ending sac. What it does, it connects the sperm ducts. It connects the sperm duct from where the sperm duct enters the urethra. It connects the sperm duct from where the sperm duct, it connects the sperm duct. You can see the sperm duct. It is connecting the sperm duct where the urethra enters, where the sperm duct enters the urethra. Now, class, again, this seminal vesicle, it provides an alkaline fluid which contains nutrient for the spermatozoa. It provides an alkaline fluid which contains nutrient for spermatozoa. Now, let's continue. Now, again, we can see we have another gland called the prostate gland. Here, this is the prostate gland. The prostate gland is found at the junction between the sperm duct and the urethra. You can see this is the prostate gland, right? And it is found at the junction between the sperm duct and the urethra. Again, class, we can see that is the location, right? Now, what is the function of this prostate gland? This prostate gland, it produces an alkaline fluid that neutralizes the vaginal fluid. It produces an alkaline fluid that neutralizes the vaginal fluid, and that is the prostate gland. Now, let's look at the corpus gland. What is the function of the corpus gland? The corpus gland, on the other hand, is located just below the prostate gland on either side of the urethra. We can see that these are the corpus gland. They are situated just below the prostate gland on either side of the urethra. We can see we have a corpus gland here, another corpus gland here, and they are situated just below the prostate gland, then on either side of the urethra, and this is our urethra class. Now, what is the function of these corpus gland? It secretes a fluid that neutralizes the acidity along the urethra. Now, class, acidity along the urethra is basically caused by the pH variation of the urine. The pH variation of the urine causes the acidity, and we know that one of the functions of the kidney structure was regulation of pH. And if the pH, the basic functional structure in the kidney, that is the nephron, does not regulate pH as per required, there will be some variation. And when you have low pH, the condition becomes acidic, and if pH goes high, the condition becomes basic. And as such, now the variation of the pH in the urine, that is being controlled by the secretion of a fluid to neutralize that acidity by the corpus gland. Now, class, look like this one. Now, this is the penis. What are some of the composition of the penis, and how does the penis get stimulated, and does the action of copulation or coitus, or other sometimes being referred to as the sexual intercourse? Now, class, we say the penis is a sponge. It's made up of spongy tissue. The penis is made up of spongy tissue, muscles, and blood vessels. Right? The penis is made up of spongy tissue, muscles, and blood vessels. Now, what happens during sexual excitation? What happens to the penis? We say during sexual excitation, there's an increased blood flow into the spongy tissue of the penis. During sexual excitation, there is increased blood flow into the spongy tissue of the penis. Now, what happens when there is increased blood flow into the spongy tissues of the penis? Now, making the penis to become erect and hard. Now, once the penis becomes erect and hard, it is able to penetrate into the vagina of the female counterpart, hence affecting the process of the fertilization. And therefore, class, that is briefly about the male reproductive system. In our next lesson, we will be looking at the female reproductive system, formation of the egg, formation of the sperm, the process of fertilization. Meanwhile, stay tuned. Wish you all the best. Have a prosperous life in this world as well in the hereafter. all the best. Make the channel shine. We'll do marvelous work that will make interesting approaches to daily lives. Hope all will be well in future. Thank you very much.